Hey, Daily Dosers. My name is Tracie. I'm one of the pastors at the Carlsbad campus, and I get to share with you in the last part of Philippians. We're in chapter 4. I'm going to start in verse 8. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. And I love how Paul is starting to finish up Philippians, and he knew as he's sitting in a jail cell that hard times are going to come. There are good times in our lives, and there are things that are hard for us. And he knew that the battle would be in our minds, and that we have to start there and focus on what we're thinking about to really do the battle well and stay focused on Jesus. And what he also knew is that it's a choice. Like, we choose what we are going to dwell on. We've all had things that have been good in our life, and not just blessings of being in a first world country, but what we gain from Christ himself. Those are such beautiful, powerful things. But we also in this life know that hard things are going to come, disappointments are going to come, adversity, and things aren't going to pan out the way we wanted all the time. So we really have to choose, and Paul knew that, and that was his encouragement to us. And I believe in our culture today, we have a lot of negativity that comes to us in a lot of different varieties, whether it's our 24-hour news stations, it's our social media, it's the tension that we have. And so we really do have to be mindful, and we choose that. And Paul also tells us in Romans 12:2, don't conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so he gives us a way to really kind of readjust that, but it has to be a choice. Every word, all the words that he uses are action words and words that we choose to do. And so in verse 9, he says, practice these things. And so it's this ongoing choice that we have. And he's encouraging us also in 2 Corinthians, where it says, pretty strong language, demolish every argument that puts itself up against Christ and take captive every thought and make it obedient to Christ. And so Paul is putting it back on us to actually be really active in that process. And so I would encourage you to stop for a moment and think about, what is it that I dwell on? Is it the things that are really tough and difficult, or am I dwelling on the things that are of God and that are lovely and pure and trustworthy and excellent and all of those things? And practically, I have a couple of things that came to mind. So when my grandkids go to bed at night, they have an opportunity to talk about the highs of the day and the lows of the day. And then they finish out their day with prayer of thanksgiving for the good things that has happened in the day. I think just turning off that 24-hour news, you got to be in the know, but you don't have to have it just constantly inundating you. So really setting a boundary. If you don't feel good when you get off of social media about yourself or about your life or any of that, then shut that off. Make that a boundary. He's saying, make an intentional effort with what we're feeding ourselves. And when October comes in my house, I always have a bowl and some strips of paper and pens, and everybody who walks in my door, I ask them to write something that they're thankful about, and it goes into the bowl, and then on Thanksgiving Day we read through those, and I keep those envelopes throughout the years, and I'll occasionally go back to those. But it's just a way for us to make sure that we're dwelling on the things that are good and really creating, being intentional about how we do that. So Paul knew that there would be hardship in this life, but he really did know the answer to our peace, and that's if we keep our mind on the things that are lovely and true and trustworthy and worthy of praise. So I'd encourage you today, before you get too far, just stop for a moment and think about the great things in your life and really begin to practice those things. And I promise you, the God of peace will meet you there. Have a great day.